everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have my update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I absolutely love this project. I've been having so much fun doing this, so just a quick run through of my rules before we jump into the progress. I have a pretty laid back project, so the 3 ways I can roll shades out are 1, hit pan, of course, and the other 2 ways are to use a shadow 10 times or have it in this project for 2 or more months. I just find this works best for me to cycle through my collection, get some use on shades, but not necessarily force myself to hit pan on them if I either don't want to or don't think I'm anywhere close. So these are the 5 palettes that I had in for the month. We will go through my project. I will talk about them in the order that I rolled them in, and we will see what is staying in and rolling out. So up first we have my Nabla Dreamy palette, and I had the shade Lullaby. So Lullaby is this purple matte shade at the bottom. It does not look any different from when I first rolled this in. I have had this in for 2 months, and I used it 2 times this past month for a total of 4 uses. This was just not a shade, not a palette I was really reaching for. I did get a few good uses on it, but as you can see, there is no visible progress. 4 uses is not that much, especially for that shade. So I am happy with the uses that I did get out of it. I think this is a nice shade. I do wish it showed up a little more purple toned on the eyes. It is definitely a more neutral purple, which in some cases I do enjoy, but I have been going for more colorful looks lately, so it would have been fun if this was a little brighter purple, but for what it is, I do really like it, and I did reach for some of the other shades within this palette as well, and it is a palette that I feel like I need to reach for more. I just haven't quite yet. I didn't save for that last one, but that one will be rolling out since it was in for 2 months. And the next palette we have here is my Glitter Realm A Whole New World, and we had Jafar from this one. So Jafar is this darker red shade over here, and it definitely pulls a lot more pink toned on the eyes when you blend it in the crease. But I did use this one 2 times this past month for 4 uses within this project. This one has also been in for the 2 months, so it will be rolling out, and I said this last month as well, but I am kind of disappointed with how little I used this shade. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection, and I thought by having a shade in here it would allow me to reach for it more, but I honestly just didn't. I am not sure the reason behind it. I love this shade, love this palette, but it was just not one I found myself reaching for, which totally fine. I'm not going to force myself to use a shade if I'm not feeling it, but I do know that this is one that I will get more use out of in the future. Next up we have my Be Bella Lotus Love palette, and I have the shade Fresh. So Fresh is this shade up here, and this was just not a shade I was super excited about. It has only been in for 1 month, and I only used it 1 time this past month, so it will be staying in. I honestly just didn't find myself gravitating towards this shade. I wasn't super excited when it rolled in, and because of that, I just didn't reach for it. I am happy that I did get the 1 use at least, and I'm hopeful I can get at least a couple more, but I know this is going to be one that I roll out after the 2 months. Again, don't know what it is about the shade. It is one that I enjoy from this palette. I just wasn't super inspired by it this past month, and I feel like especially going into fall right now, this is not really a fall color for me, so Hopefully I can maybe get a couple more uses out of it, but we will see. Alright, on to a more exciting shade. This is my Wet n Wild Not a Basic Peach palette, and I had shade number 5. So number 5, as you can see here, does have a little pan in it. I am so happy about this. I used this one 7 times this month to hit pan, and this one did have a pretty nice dip on it to begin with. I have had this palette for years, honestly, and that is probably my favorite shade within this palette, so I knew that this was going to be a shade that I hit pan on, and it took me 7 uses, which, if I'm being honest, was more than I thought it was going to take me, but still not too many, so didn't have a problem with that. I had a lot of fun using the shade. It's not the most impactful shade, but it did pair really nicely with a couple of duochrome toppers that I have in my collection. I have these 2 palettes from Beautiful Shellz Cosmetics, and each of them have a duochrome shade that was just gorgeous to top off my looks, and you will see those couple of looks popping up on the screen here at some point. And if you're interested, I do have an affiliate link with Beautiful Shellz. I don't believe either of their chameleon palettes that I have are available anymore, but they have a ton of palettes with a ton of gorgeous shades, so if you want to check them out, I would appreciate it. But back to this shade, it was really nice to use, and I'm happy to finally see a pan in it. Like I said, this is a very old palette in my collection, and that is the shade that I knew I wanted to hit pan on this year, so very happy it got rolled in, and we have another pan to add to my collection. Alright, then last palette up is my BH Cosmetics Nouveau Neutrals palette, and I had shade number 24. So technically speaking, this is a blush shade, but I just use it as eyeshadow. So this past month, I used it a total of 4 times, and it has only been in for this 1 month, so it will be staying in. I was honestly surprised how much I was reaching for this shade. I know 4 doesn't seem like a lot of uses, but honestly for this project, it is kind of on the higher end for me. So I was super happy about that. I feel like I don't reach for this palette often enough, but I was creating some really fun pink looks this month, and I really enjoyed using the shade as a kind of crease transition shade. So we will see how much more use I get out of it this next month, but I was quite happy with the usage I got on it this month. So these 2 palettes will be staying in, and that means we get to roll in 3 new shades, and I'm so excited. This is always just the most fun part of this video. Alright, so I have my Pretty Random app here set from 1 to 1067. So this does include every eyeshadow within my collection, regardless of if I have pan on it or if it has already been in this project. So if I get either of those, I will re-roll. I will also most likely re-roll if I get a shade from a palette that is currently in this project or that has just rolled out, just because I want some more variety within my palettes and to cycle through them a little more. So first number up is 729. So 729 comes from my Hot Topic Winnie the Pooh Christmas palette, and it is the shade Season's Greetings. That is a palette I do not reach for, so that might be a good thing. Very close number. So 754 comes from my BH Cosmetics Miss Claus palette, and it is the shade Fireball. And lastly, oh my gosh. So that is from the same palette, so we're going to re-roll. Get 495. So 495 comes from my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and it is the shade Twilight. So I'm going to go grab all of those and be right back. Alright, so the first palette that got rolled in is this adorable one. This is my Winnie the Pooh Christmas palette, got from Hot Topic. So the shade that rolled in is Season's Greetings, which is probably one of the easiest shades for me to focus on within this palette, so I am kind of happy about that. Like I said, this is not a palette that I reach for hardly at all. I feel so bad about that, but there's just something about this palette that doesn't really inspire me, I guess. It is just the cutest packaging, but for some reason I just don't really reach for it, so I think this will be a good opportunity to get at least a couple uses on this shade. So next we have my BH Cosmetics Miss Claus So Spoiled palette. This palette is just adorable. So the shade we rolled in is Fireball, which I'm super excited about. There aren't many shades in this palette that I don't like, so I am happy that we got that one, and I think it'll be a good opportunity to reach for this palette. I definitely think this one is a little more Christmassy. These last two palettes were, but I think that red will be a nice fall shade, so I am hopeful that we will get some good use on it. And last up is my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. This is gorgeous, and we rolled in the shade Twilight, which I am super excited about. For a second I thought it might be the shade Royal, which is not my favorite shade, but I do really enjoy the shade Twilight. It is a little bit of a drier formula I have found, but it is a really pretty color, so I am happy to test this one out a little bit more and get some good use on it. So those are my 3 new palettes. I am very excited. I can pretty much 100% say that I am not going to hit pan on any of these, and it'll probably be the 2-month mark when I roll these out, but we will see how some usage goes. I am really looking forward to testing these ones out some more. So I will go ahead and insert a picture of the swatches so you can see the color story. We are definitely leaning more in the pinky red color family. I feel like we have for the last couple of months, but that's okay. I do enjoy pinky and red looks. They aren't super everyday for me, so it might be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm definitely up for it. I am excited about the individual shades themselves. I think I will be able to get some good use, and hopefully we can show some decent progress by next month. I'm not anticipating any pans within the 5 shades, but I think I can get some good use on them. So let me know what you guys think of this project, what you thought of this update. Also, let me know what else you would like to see from me. I'm always open to suggestions. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And with all of that said, I will see you in my next video.